Will Florida's housing bubble finally burst in 2026? Tampa's inventory is swelling. Cape Coral's insurance is exploding. Why are these the 17 worst cities to buy a house in Florida in 2026? Let's find out. Number 17, Naples. Are you thinking about Naples? Here's a quick reality check. Listings are up 86% year over year, median near $550,000, about 107 days on market, and 8.3 months of supply. That's buyers setting the pace. Now ask yourself, if sellers are blinking first, why rush? The hitch isn't, is Naples nice? It's, can you carry it? Post-Surfside rules mean full reserves and milestone inspections, so older towers are dropping five-figure assessments and thicker dues. If that renewal email popped in tomorrow, would a bigger premium and a higher deductible still fit your budget? Lenders don't love buildings thin on reserves or mid-repair, which kicks more deals to cash, and cash wants a discount. If the seller won't budge, would you? Naples still has the lifestyle, absolutely. But until carrying costs calm down, the math calls the shots. So here's the move. Would you rather overpay today and hope fees settle, or negotiate hard and let the numbers blink first? Number 16, Orlando. Eyeing a condo in Orlando? The parks are busy. The spreadsheets got quiet. Prices that kissed the low $300,000 now sit closer to the low $200,000 in many spots, and listings linger through weekend 2, then 3. If homes aren't flying, why should your offer? The blocker isn't the sticker, it's the monthly. Dues that used to live in the 600s now scrape 4 digits once insurance, reserves, and common area fixes get baked in. If your HOA jumped a couple hundred at renewal, would your plan still work? Condo hotel math, choppier travel, tighter family budgets, and higher delinquencies mean some buildings slide into emergency budgeting. Owners who pay on time carry more weight. Would you want that on your back? Lenders step off thin reserve or mid-repair buildings. Developers tap the brakes, and buyers start with one question: what's the all-in? If owning beats rent, great, lean in and ask for credits. If it doesn't, why force it? Number 15, Sunny Isles Beach. Chasing that ocean view? Cool. Now check the monthly. Miami-Dade's condo inventory is up. Months of supply and days on market climbed in Q3 2025, and older towers are living under post-Surfside rules. Full reserves, milestone inspections, and no more. Fix it later. That means concrete, facade, and mechanical work shows up as 5-figure special assessments. Today, not someday. Since 2022, coastal insurance has jumped too as carriers reprice wind, water, and replacement costs. So buyers here run the all-in, dues plus assessments, plus insurance, before they fall for the view, and sellers feel it. Fewer bids, slower closings, more caution. The postcard didn't change, the carrying cost did. If your monthly spiked 20% at renewal, would you still love this address? Or would you rather love a discount? Number 14, Bradenton. Hunting Sarasota vibes at a lower price? Make sure the math still smiles back. In 2025, Manatee's condo gear townhome median hovered near $300,000, with double-digit drops from 2024 as inventory rebuilt and demand cooled. The beach isn't the problem, the bills are. State reserve and inspection rules push older associations to collect more now, while insurance keeps climbing, especially where roofs are aging or repairs are open. Stack higher dues and pricier coverage on 2024 to 2025 mortgage rates, and the own vs rent equation changed for a lot of first-timers and snowbirds. Builders are dangling incentives, but shoppers run the spreadsheet first and tour second. If the numbers settle, momentum returns. Until then, Bradenton sells to people who buy the math, not the brochure. One quick test. After dues, insurance, and taxes, does your monthly still beat a comparable lease? Or are you paying extra for the same sunshine? Numero 3, Aventura. You came for quiet luxury, not loud surprises. So what's the true monthly? County data shows more inventory and slower absorption in 2025, while SB 154 now demands fully funded reserves and milestone inspections, costs that hit older, service-heavy towers hardest. Insurance is the second lever. Since 2022, coastal condo premiums climbed into 5 digits in many buildings, pushing owner monthlies way past 2019 expectations. Lenders have tightened on mid-repair or thin reserve associations, shrinking conventional financing and letting cash set the tone. The result? Wider list-to-sale gaps, more concessions, patient buyers. The view didn't change. The all-in to keep it did. Quick question. If your HOA voted a $25,000 to $60,000 reserve catch-up next month, would your deal still work? Or would you need the price to? Number 12, Jacksonville. Chasing value up north? Make sure the monthly agrees. In 2025, home prices are down 10% year over year, one of the sharper drops among big metros, as higher rates and ownership costs cool demand. At the same time, rents eased off their highs, shrinking the advantage of owning on a month-to-month basis. Florida's condo rules, fully funded reserves, milestone inspections, tighter underwriting, push more older units outside easy financing, which nudges discounts or cash. Along the river and near the coast, insurance now prices wind and water risk more explicitly than a few years ago, adding another line to the budget. Jobs and space are still strengths. The difference is simple. In this cycle, the monthly runs the market, and prices are following it down. If rent drops $150 while your HOA and insurance rise $150, do you still buy or wait? Number 11, Sarasota. This city went from "it sells itself" to "show me the numbers." Inventory is up, days on market are longer, and sellers are back to credits and prepaid dues to get a deal done. Why the shift? The monthly. Florida's new condo rules, SB 154, force milestone inspections and fully funded reserves, so the fix-it-later list turned into real bills, special assessments, and higher dues landing now, not someday. Insurance stacked on top. Since 2022, many owners have seen premiums roughly double or even triple. Yes, a slice of Citizens' policies saw small cuts this year, but most budgets are still far above pre-2022. So what does 2026 look like? Late 2025 forecasts point to flat to slightly negative on the Gulf Coast. Nearby Punta Gorda is projected 1.9% through September 2026, a clean proxy for Sarasota's risk pricing. Will your numbers still work after the next renewal, dues, assessments, insurance? If yes, you're negotiating from strength. If not, why force it? Number 10, Fort Myers. This city once ran hot. The rebuild cooled it down. Post-Ian, buyers have time again. More listings, more price cuts, bigger builder freebies. So ask yourself, if the market isn't rushing you, why rush your offer? The wild card is insurance. Plenty of owners sit in the high 4 figures to low 5 figures on premiums, and flood quotes swing hard with elevation, roof age, and mitigation. Be honest, if your renewal popped by a few grand, would your plan still work? Layer SB 154 on top, and older Gulf buildings are front-loading concrete and MEP repairs into 5-figure per-door assessments through 2025 to 2026. What does 2026 look like? Check the neighbor math. Gulf Coast metros are set to grind flat to slightly down, and Punta Gorda sits at 1.9% through September 2026. Translation, unless premiums ease, expect steady to softer as buyers price risk into every offer. Are you comfortable carrying today's premiums through 2 more renewals? If yes, push for concessions and make them pay for your pain. If no, inventory's on your side. Wait for the price to do the heavy lifting. Number 9, Miami. This city isn't crashing, it's repricing. By late 2025, the setup turns buyer-friendly. about 9.7 months of supply in September, and median DOM north of 60 days by October. Feel that from Brickell to Edgewater, slower absorption, heavier concessions, sales teams actually calling you back. The gatekeeper is the monthly. SB 154 means full reserves and milestone inspections. Stack building-specific assessments for concrete, mechanicals, and life safety, and a lot of service towers now carry 4-digit HOAs. Insurers are rating wind and water at 2025 risk, not 2019 optimism, so budgets move tower by tower. Yes, a handful of Citizens policyholders saw small 2025 decreases, but that's narrow relief after multi-year step-ups. So what's 2026? More price discovery? Flat to down in older or thin reserve stacks? Steadier in newer, well-capitalized towers? Before you fall for the view, ask, what's my all-in after reserves, assessments, and the next renewal? If the math works, you've got leverage. Ask for credits, rate buy-downs, even prepaid HOAs. If it doesn't, why chase a postcard with a payment you'll hate? Number 8, Northport. This city sold space and value when everyone wanted both. After demand cooled in 2024, 2025 brought the hangover. Longer days, more reductions, and relists as rentals. The cost stack changed. Associations are fully funding reserves and completing milestone inspections, so later projects showed up as bills today. Insurance that barely mattered a few years ago has doubled or tripled since 2022 for many buildings, especially with aging roofs or open scopes, changing the own vs rent math for a lot of first-timers. So where does 2026 land? Given the MSA trend and the Gulf Coast signal, Punta Gorda at 1.9% through September 2026. Northport looks sideways to slightly softer, with newer, well-reserved communities holding up best. Does this unit survive the next dues bump and insurance renewal without wrecking your monthly? If yes, you're in the driver's seat. If no, keep your powder dry. More price cuts are coming. Number 7, Tampa. This city's boom was all vibes. 2025 made it a spreadsheet. By mid-year, you're looking at 6.3 months of supply, so buyers finally set the pace. Listings stacked up, and six-figure cuts are what move waterfront stacks now. The monthly is the wall. Dues that hovered near $450 are drifting toward $1,000 as buildings absorb insurance jumps and rebuild reserves. Insurance alone now eats 14.9% of a typical Tampa Bay mortgage payment, one of the highest shares in the country. Put that against a $74,600 median household income and a two-bed all-in past approximately $2,400 stops feeling starter, especially with flood zone updates nudging some units into pricier tiers and lenders tightening up. Short-term rentals aren't saving the math. Occupancy is softer, nightly rates are lighter, HOAs are stricter, so the side hustle doesn't bridge the gap. Developers are throwing in credits, furniture, even a few months of dues, but buyers can wait because supply says they can. Would you pay resort pricing when the next assessment isn't clear? If not, you're the comp that sets Tampa's 2026. Number 6, Fort Lauderdale. For years, Lauderdale sold Miami water without Miami chaos. In 2025, the numbers got louder than the pitch. Broward condo medians are $240,000 as of October 2025, and inventory ballooned, with the sharpest discounts on older oceanfront towers where costs spiked fastest. 5-digit premiums and stiffer flood deductibles turn a pretty lobby into a heavy monthly. SB 154 forces full reserves and milestone inspections, so deferred concrete/MEP work became real assessments now, not later. Lenders step back from buildings mid-repair or thin on reserves, pushing deals to cash, and cash wants a better price. The Airbnb fallback? Thinner too. Occupancy is down from 2022 highs. Rates trimmed, and cleaning plus insurance plus dues outrun what guests will cover. You can feel it. Quieter pool decks, slower sales offices, late cycle launches getting bundled or paused. Be honest, are you buying the view or the bill that comes with it? In Lauderdale 2026, only one of those closes smoothly. Number 5, Cape Coral. Canals sell lifestyle until premiums price it. Cape Coral is the caution sign. From the peak to now, values are off meaningfully. Listings nearly doubled. Waterfront no longer guarantees a fast close. Insurance that cost a few thousand in 2020 pushes toward 5 figures on certain stacks, and dues in the $600 to $900 range rise again when reserves catch up to new standards. Post-Ian maps and surge models spook buyers who remember footage, not brochures. Lenders want repairs completed and documented before funding, which strands older stock between almost fixed and can't close. Short-term rentals don't bail anyone out. Occupancy sits in the low to mid-40s for many. Nightly rates are softer, and the delta between rent and monthly outflow keeps owners on the market. A bottom will print. It just isn't here yet. Number 4, West Palm Beach. This city used to mean calm water, polished towers, predictable exits. The 2025 tape says, bring a calculator. County condo medians hover near $310,000 as of October 2025, and buyers are leading with the monthly. Coastal premiums have more than doubled for many associations. Mid-teens annual policies aren't unusual in amenity buildings that actually fund reserves. After Surfside, SB 154 made fully funded reserves and milestone inspections non-negotiable, turning nice-to-have projects into fund-now mandates. Older stacks are collecting 5-figure per-door assessments to catch up. Lenders say no to thin reserve or open-scope buildings. Investors step aside when yields drift toward 3% before capex. Short-term rules are tighter and occupancy is softer, so Plan B doesn't fix Plan A. You see it on the ground. Quieter garages, tasteful reductions that still linger. Are you paying for the address or for predictability? In West Palm 2026, predictability keeps its value. Number 3, Ocala. This city used to feel easy. No storm surge, plenty of space, simple budgets. 2025 changed that. Florida's new condo rules now force older buildings to do milestone inspections and fully fund reserves. So, fix it later turned into pay it now. That's why 5-figure special assessments and higher dues are showing up across older associations. Insurance piled on too. Since 2022, carriers have repriced wind, water, and replacement costs. So premiums that barely mattered a few years ago are now the headline, especially in older or more exposed buildings. Heading into 2026, buyers are cautious and picky. Forecasts point slightly down over the next 12 months. Think around the 1 to 2% range, which is exactly what you get when everyone starts buying the monthly, not the brochure. Number 2, Miami Beach. The view is still postcard perfect. The fine print got bigger. By late 2025, the Miami Metro slid into clear buyer mechanics. Roughly 9.7 months of supply in September and median days on market north of 60 by October. Slower absorption, heavier concessions, and sales teams working the phones again. That pace shows up on Miami Beach too. Zoom into West Avenue, and you'll find typical listings sitting well over 100 days. Ask the right first question. What's my all-in after reserves, assessments, and the next insurance renewal? Costs are the story. SB 154 made fully funded reserves and milestone inspections non-negotiable, and older oceanfront towers still have concrete facade and mechanical work that can't be kicked down the road, so assessments and 4-digit HOAs are common. There is a sliver of relief. Some Citizens policy holders in South Florida saw small 2025 decreases, but that's narrow help after several years of big step-ups. Expect price discovery into 2026, softer and older or thin reserve stacks, steadier and newer, well-capitalized towers. The water is gorgeous, but does the monthly still feel good after renewal day? If not, keep walking. Number 1, Pensacola. Budget coastal used to be Pensacola's superpower. In 2025, buyers started reading the whole bill. Look at the downtown 32502 zip. Typical homes are taking around 104 days to sell as of October 2025, up sharply from last year. More time on market means more leverage and more price cuts to get deals done. If listings are sitting longer, why rush to pay yesterday's number? Now, layer in Florida's statewide cost stack. The same SB 154 reserve and inspection requirements apply here, so older Gulfside buildings are front-loading concrete and MEP projects into 2025 to 2026 budgets. Insurance is the second squeeze. After active storm seasons and reinsurance repricing, condo and home policies rose across Florida, with flood quotes especially sensitive to elevation and mitigation. That's why more deals die at the renewal email than at inspection. Heading into 2026, expect the same pattern you're seeing in other Gulf metros. Cautious buyers, longer DOM, and prices adjusting until the monthly fits local incomes. Would you rather pay up now and gamble on 2 more renewals, or let price do that heavy lifting for you? In Pensacola next year, the spreadsheet sets the pace. In Florida, the math decides. Carriers rate the storm, HOAS fund the fix. You choose the risk. Tell us where you're looking. We'll pull the dues, the last reserve study, and a real insurance quote, and we'll find the buildings where the lifestyle and the math still agree.